Congratulations, Tommy, Alex.
Morning, Nancy. How you
Hi.
doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Good. And Tommy, are you out in another adventure?
I should probably just say yes, but no, I'm just in my van using it as an office while my family, runs runs around the house.
Hey, it makes a nice background because after all, you are all about adventure. So,
Yeah, this is my quiet, safe space.
well, can I start by saying that forget Tom Cruise and doing all his stunts and action films. You guys are the real deal.
We do our own stunts, that's for sure.
It's true.
No, I watched your entire film documentary. Oh my gosh, my hands were sweaty as I'm talking about it and just thinking about it. My hands are sweaty. I mean, how was it for you? I imagine you already watched the film. How was it your experience watching it as a viewer of everything you did and you put yourself through for to make this wonderful journey?
I think it was pretty good. I mean, honestly, we did so much in 2 months. I mean, it was a 2 month expedition, and the film is only 90 minutes long. But I think that the film really captures the beauty and the adventure, like all the sort of key elements of the trip for us, I think are all sh reflected in the film pretty well.
Yeah, you know how when you go on a trip and with your family or whatever, and you take pictures with your phone, and you come back and you look at them later, it's like, oh, that was a fun trip. We get to look back at a whole National Geographic production, and we're like, we got to have the same thing, but it's like all produced and made in this very beautiful way. So yeah, it's always really fun.
That's one thing I wanted to talk about the production. How was it? How is it for you to have productional camera crews, drones, most likely for the big chunk of the film around you watching? Or is that a distraction? Do you have to try to block it off so you can focus? What's that experience?
No, it's fine. I mean, we were working with people who some of whom are very old friends of ours. I mean, there aren't that many people in the world who can make a film like this, and we're friends with many of them over the years. And so really it's like you're just out in the woods with your friends having whole experience together. Uh, yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right that they did shoot a lot with drones, and at times there were three different drones circling around us on different sides, so we couldn't even hear each other that well. But you just know that they're capturing the most epic, beautiful shots ever, and you're kind of like, this is worth it. It's like you just know that it's going to be incredible.
Yeah, and honestly, since they are our friends, it is fun. Like it's fun to be back in the mountains with a group of like five of us. It wasn't just me and Alex. It was me and Alex and like our filmmaking friends that we've been working with our entire lives, which just adds a little bit of different and sometimes even improved energy. Like I really like the film projects.
As I was watching, I had questions, and then you guys were phenomenal in providing the answers. Like, why would you put yourself through thousands of miles of bike ride before this big climb? Because I mean, I would think you want to preserve your energy and make sure you don't get injured, but you guys are just out wild and want to just bike.
I think Alex still questions that decision, but I mean, in some ways, like we've become so efficient at climbing these mountains that I want to find ways to like expand the magnitude of the adventure. So putting up these guardrails, like biking from our homes to get there, does that. It makes for this much more like impactful experience. I mean, we actually had some close friends that had climbed the Devil's Thumb before, and they like flew in a helicopter, climbed the Devil's Thumb. It was like a week-long trip. We got to experience like a whole summer because we did this, which really like you feel the experience so much more in that way. Like you're kind of rubbed raw by the whole thing, and so you come back being like that changed me.
Yeah, I mean, as Tommy said, I think I personally maybe would have just driven a van and climbed a lot more along the way and saved the physical toil of bicycling. But Tommy's totally right that the bike adventure is just a more immersive journey through a landscape. You spend a lot more time getting to know a place. And I've done a few bike packing sort of climbing adventures like that in the past. I've done two other sort of mini expeditions like that, nothing even remotely this scale. But I kind of knew that there was something to be gained by sort of learning the landscape in that way, and so I was open to it.
Speaking about being open to it, I love how you guys opened up for us as viewers. Tommy, your injury, your wife, family. Alex, the growing up, the little bit about you and empathy, the joke from Tommy. And then I actually teared up a bit when I saw you smiling the most once you had reached the summit. Because I don't know, because for the most part you're like serious, you're on a mission, but you were smiling, all smiles, teeth, like now.
We're not that serious. I mean, literally 2 month journey. Like we're joking the whole time. We're having a good time. It's like, of course we're serious sometimes because occasionally the situation demands it. But in general, I mean, we were having a good time for almost all of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think your question made me realize that sort of the outside of the climbing fold audience sees climbing as like this very serious, like deadly thing that is all about like this conversation with death, and it must be these like very serious people. The film does make it seem more that way than it actually feels to us. Like we literally are out there just like having a good time with our friends, in like very cool places, and that's why we do it.
The part also that you talk about, Tommy, about getting captured, in Kyrgyzstan, and the experience of how you pretty much had to push someone aside for your own life. Can you talk a little bit about covering that in the documentary? What made you want to cover it?
It's hard to just cover that in like a minute on this interview. I you know that was that I think that's just such a huge part of my story as a climber, and it really shaped me. So it's like almost like you have to mention it whenever you talk about my story. So they did.
And the scenes where they're showing the camera, like the view you guys would have looking down while you're up in the summit, took me back to you talking about pushing someone and knowing that someone lost their life that way. Gave me the chills.
Yeah, it doesn't like when I get up on cliffs, it doesn't bring me back to that place where I pushed a guy off a cliff. It's like I spend my life in environments like that, so it's kind of like my safe place in some ways. I love being above the abyss, you know.
So to wrap up, what do you have to can you say to those people that want to be professional climbers? Any advice?
Oh, I think it's a tough thing to be a professional climber, but I think if you love being outdoors, being in the mountains, and it's like go for it. Like try, spend your time, have the big adventures, do the things like challenge yourself, push yourself, and then sort of see what happens.
Yeah, and I think that one thing that I had to learn over the years is I was so objective focused, but if I really look back with, decades of experience, it's like the people that I was on those journeys with is what shaped me, is what I remember the most. It's what improved me the most. It's like, find the people that are around you that can format the experience and make it. That's what it's all about.
Well, thank you both. I admire you guys and your strength and will to complete your missions. It's phenomenal and very brave.
No, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank,
Thanks, Nancy.
you're welcome. Thank you. Congratulations.
Yes.